I want to talk a little bit about my experience at Clorox and why I left and what I actually did at the Yes2 brand. So I was at Clorox for about 20 years. For about 17 years, but 20 years in CPG. And my background is all marketing and sales. And my NASCAR picture is when I was in sales. And my head of sales told me, you have to go and understand the NASCAR racing because that's a huge marketing platform for us. So I went to the race. I loved it, and I became a junkie. So that's how I became a NASCAR junkie behind that. I chose to leave Clorox because I was really interested in working on a business that was large. Not large, but growing, or has the potential to be large. And a lot of the businesses at Clorox were large, but has pretty mature categories and mature growth rates. So that was really an interest for me. And then the other part is working for a category that has a more health and wellness alternative that I could bring to the consumer. And natural beauty allowed me to do that. And I would say beauty is so much more fun than selling cleaning products, and which is what Clorox actually sold a lot of. Okay, so today I want to share with you some of the learnings that I went through in transforming Yes2 into a growth brand. All right. So I'm going to start with my favorite quote. There are only two kinds of problems in business: growth and liquidation problems. And growth is more fun. So how many people have worked on very sick businesses? It's not that fun. Yeah, I have my share of it too. And that's why when I joined Yes2, that was one of the biggest things for me was I want to turn this into a growth brand. However, when I joined, it actually stumbled on a major product recall. And it was all product quality related. So it was nothing about growth. It was really kind of leading toward a liquidation problem. And it also really shattered the brand equity that it had because of the product recall. But my goal was I'm going to turn this into a growth problem for us, not a liquidation. So my whole solution for that was I was going to relaunch the entire brand behind the product recall in the US market. And that was my goal going in. So whenever I go on a business, I always start with the strategy. And I think Celia talked a little bit about that earlier too, which is where are we going with this brand and how are we going to grow it into a growth brand. And the first thing I started with was so important for us to define what the brand stand for, given the product recall situation that we had. So the first thing we did was really worked on our brand mission. And our mission has three parts to it. And let me read you the statement on top. We say yes to supernatural beauty products that work, spread smiles, and give back. And I'm going to talk you through each one of these because it's the combination of them is what makes Yes2 its positioning and its unique. So the first thing about working is that we want to deliver products with zero compromise is really what the working is about. We want a product that's natural, but then it's efficacious and affordable. That is, to us, our goal of how we're going to go develop our products. It's not that easy. It looks easy because it has these three components, but it's very tough to do in a natural beauty world. The other thing that was really important to us with the product recall was to establish our product standard. So what is our natural standard for our products? Aside from being 95% natural, at least, what are the other ingredients that we don't want in our product, and how do we keep that list and be consistent with it? So it's beyond, not having parabens, petroleum, and SLS. It's a much longer list of harmful ingredients that we actually don't allow in our products. And then final piece on the product is that we recycle. And we are a very sustainable brand, so wherever we could use recyclable packaging, we do. And those are things that really make up, the product and what the brand stands for. The other part is about smiles. It's one thing to sell product, but it's another to make the person feel good about using the product. We're the brand that has the yes in our brand name, and we exude the positivity that a lot of beauty brands can't have. And so our goal is to make our consumers see the world glass half full, not half empty, and that we try to bring humor and some smile to their face through our packaging, which is pretty bold and bright, through things that we write on our packaging that gives you a little smile, there's a little humor in it, and also all the social things that we do. And then the last piece is really our giving back. We want to do good as part of our goal and our mission. So we spent quite a bit of time giving back to our communities. And we have a platform called the Yes to Seed Fund. And the mission behind that is to really inspire kids to live a healthier and more positive life. We're trying to give back to the generation that's to come, and hopefully they get a better life. And what we're doing is that we're partnering with two nonprofits, one in San Francisco in the Bay Area with us. And our goal is really to provide nutritious meals to kids when they're not in school. We all know that there's a lot of data that malnutrition is what drives a lot of kids not doing well in school and not being able to concentrate. So our goal is how do we give them a more positive and healthy life and provide those meals when they're not in school. And so our goal for this year is we're going to go and generate 50,000 meals for kids around the world. So a big strategy choice that we made, aside from defining the brand mission, is moving away from just carrots, which is yes to carrots, to yes to. That's a huge, huge branding choice for us. And I did that because I saw the potential for us to grow the brand much broader than it can if we did not limit ourselves just to a carrot ingredient. So, and yes to could be a platform to yes to naturals. We could say yes to naturals in a lot of categories, even beyond beauty. And our whole juxtaposition is linking the ingredients to a benefit with our product within beauty. So being able to walk away from carrots as a limitation was really, really big for us. And that allowed us to have now a whole bunch of collections underneath our brand. So we now have probably a collection for everyone in this room, for your skin type. So we have carrots, which is obviously a normal skin option. And then we have cucumber for sensitive skin, tomato for acne, blueberry for anti-aging, grapefruit for uneven skin, and then our latest family that we're launching in another month is the Yes to Coconut line, which is for hydration and dry skin. So our whole strategy is to link the ingredient of, let's say, a tomato, which is great with lycopene for oily skin, and link that to the benefit of acne. So we do that in a whole bunch of collections that we have done, and that has been a huge part of our relaunch and our rebranding. As part of rebranding, we also did new packaging in order to exemplify the yes to positive personality. Our old packaging was much more clinical in nature and much whiter, and we brought a lot of color into natural. If you ever go into the US market in natural beauty, there really isn't a lot of color. There's a lot of much more white and muted colors. And you can see that we really focus on the Yes To brand name. We brought color into the category. And here it's hard to see, but we use fruits and vegetable real photography in order to communicate the naturalness of the product. And as we compare it to our other competitors in the US market, our products are bright. And it really stands out on shelf. And it's one of those kind of unique things that we brought actually to the natural set. And compared to our two we're next to, they're much more muted and much more clinical in color. And then, as I said, spreading smiles is really important for us as part of our mission. So one of the things that we launched is what we call the Yes To movement. It's a positivity movement of encouraging consumers to engage with us at a more emotional level, but with a more positivity bent behind it. So how do we bring it to life? I think Elizabeth earlier talked about kind of the 360 wheel. This is not a 360 wheel. This is a reach point, a touch point with our consumers. And unlike the larger brands that we compete with, we have a very, I would say, more unconventional marketing plan. We don't do any advertising. Our goal is all about word of mouth. That's our consumer. Our consumer gets a lot of the information from word of mouth, and also a lot of it through social. So as you see the touch points here, the touch points are very much around an influencer plan, word of mouth plan, and a social plan. Okay. And here's some examples of how it looks. So here's a typical editor event we'll do for PR. It exudes kind of what the personality is with Yes2. So you really feel the brand when you actually go to one of our editor events. We've done a influencer plan with a YouTube star. So this one is it's Ingrid Nielsen, who her name is Ms. Glamorazzi, if you guys want to look her up in YouTube. I think we're all in the wrong business. We should all be YouTube stars because they are phenomenal in terms of how much they make. Because every time I talk to her, it's another $10,000. So, and only for 5 minutes. So what we did with her was, in order to drive trial, was we designed a outside packaging for our hero SKU, which is wipes. And it was with her inspiration, but consistent with the Yes2 branding. So that is going to come out later on this year. And we also partnered along with her a fashion institute in San Francisco and Los Angeles called the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. And the designers along with her and Yes2 actually designed this. Third is, obviously, we do a lot of digital promotions, and the key part about this is that digital has to work for us with our consumers, but it also has to get activated at a retailer. So the key about this is that it's more than just one point of contact that we have with the consumer. This is also a trial generating vehicle for us as we launched the Yes2 movement, where we gave away 100,000 of our favorite products, which is the wipes. And then we activated it at Walgreens, which is a huge drug chain in US. And they saw great sales lift from the giveaway that we had. All of this we talked about is strategy, and strategy is a great piece of paper that we have, and there's great plans that I just showed you that got us there. But what was really important, that one of my mentors have told me, is that it's only as good as the team that you have executing it. And the reason why I bring this up is this is so involved with the innovation topic that we have today. And I'll go into why I think that. And so as I was dividing the strategy, as I got to Yes2, one of the things I had to do also to go with that is to build the right team. And for me, diversity of a team is really important. I think there's many speakers that have actually talked about that and touched on that today. My experience has been that having diversity of thought that comes together as a team is what really instills innovative and creative thinking. And when you can build a team that allows that, that's when breakthrough happens. So when I got to Yes2, it was 80% men, all white men, and 20% women, which is not bad in terms of diversity between gender, but it's not good enough for a beauty business. So if I look forward now, my team is 2/3 women, 1/3 men, and I have other parts of diversity. I have ethnicity in my team, probably 30% ethnicity. I also have small entrepreneurial background versus Fortune 500, kind of like all of you here, and as well as my background. And then there's beauty experience, which is about 40%, and then 60% non-beauty, which I find to be very helpful when you have non-beauty people in the team as well. And I obviously have multi-generational. I have people that are from their 20s all the way to the 50s. And so all this diversity has been a key to instilling innovation and creative thinking for us. The other part that's really important is, aside from having the right team, is having the right wine. Is everybody awake? Having the right wine. So I'm going to explain what that means. Right wine means to me having the right culture. Okay? And so having the right culture to foster innovation and innovative thinking after you have the team is probably just as important. One of the first things I started was what we call Friday Wine Down, W-I-N-E, down. And it's about winding down, but with a glass of wine, which is the Pinot. That's my favorite varietal, and or a beer or any cocktail. So we do that as a team Fridays, starting at 3 or 4 o'clock. And that's the time when the team actually, without judgment, comes with their ideas and talk about what's on their mind and what they would like to share. And I would say for the last 4 years, I got the best business building ideas and new product ideas at Wine Down. And it's not just because of the wine and the alcohol, but it's really about you're creating a safe area for people to be able to share ideas. And the other part about the culture is really important for us is just having the right values and doing good. With the product recall in the beginning, it was really important for us to instill the right values, that we'll always do the right thing for the consumer, regardless of what happens. And we do that day to day, every day. And also as a group, we love to be able to do good. We give back to the community with our time. So 3 or 4 times a year, we go and dedicate our time for a whole day to go and do something good for our community. And we have a lot of people from the team that loves to be able to volunteer their time, so everybody has their own personal passion of what they want to do good on as well. So having the right team, having the right culture is extremely important in instilling and fostering kind of an innovative culture, so that you can continue to have innovation throughout. So let's talk a little about the results, because at the end of the day, right, as Celia says, we have to make money from doing all this. So in the last 3 or 4 years, we've gotten over 50 product awards from the relaunch. And this is just an example of the various books and magazines that we have gotten recognition from. And we've gotten them from all our products, all the collections that we have shown, not just Yes to Carrots, but Yes to Carrots, cucumbers, any of the collection of products that we have. We're now in, with the relaunch, we were able to really secure a higher distribution for us. So we're now in a lot of the retailers in the US, and these are the various channels that we are in, from mass to drug to all the way to e-commerce. And then we have also started to make our investment in international. So we're currently right now in Australia and in Canada, and we just recently got into Boots. And we just got in there probably in April. I was just there to look at our stores. It looks really good. So really excited about the UK market. And then I think these are other results that we have. This is now the #2 brand, natural brand in the US market in mass. We're now the #1 natural facial position that we have. And as we talked about, the company has quadrupled in revenue, and the value of the company has increased 5 times. So it still has tons of potential for this brand, but the relaunch has really set it up for it to a growth path that I can see that it could be a really, really large business at some time. But before I go, I have one quote I want to share with you that kind of summarizes the innovation and kind of what I was trying to tell you in the last couple of minutes. Innovation has nothing to do with how many R&D dollars you spend. It's really not about the money. It's about the people you have, how you are led, and how much you get it. Thank you.